Yeah, I think this is there's two things. The first is if you're going to say you're not going to tolerate hate speech and you're not going to tolerate symbols that promote genocide, then I don't see how you can ban the Sieg Heil and yet have people actually, literally, explicitly calling for the death of all Israelis or the death of Jews and say, oh, well, that's just pro-Palestinian. It doesn't mean they're pro-Hamas. So that's just insane. And again, I'm struggling to get my head around what our politicians are even thinking when it comes to dealing with these
fraud.
Can I ask you a point on that, though?
Yeah.
So you're arguing that we should enforce the law when it comes to inciting hate and particularly violence. If you're going to chant "kill the Jews" or "death to Israel,"
if anything, that's worse than throwing a Sieg Heil.
So you should be arrested for that, right? Because you're inciting violence.
That's right, and that is a crime. That's always been very, very clear.
Okay, so I get that, but wouldn't you also say the Nazi salute is an incitement to violence? I mean, the Nazis.
Absolutely.
So why would you not enforce both rather than say, well, if you're not going to enforce that, don't worry about banning?
That's what I'm exactly saying. You cannot.
So you think it should be banned?
You cannot. But you cannot. If you're going to ban the Nazi salute, then you absolutely have to ban people who are saying the exact same things that the Nazis did, which is kill all the Jews.
They're not banning the things that matter. That's the point.
Well, I'm saying they should ban that, enforce it, and they should enforce the laws they've already got about inciting violence when you're yelling, from the river to the sea, which is essentially is genocide of Israel. They should arrest those people as well. Do both.
Oh, deport the lot of them. But I would much rather see a clampdown on that, thank you very much, both New South Wales and Victorian governments, than them doing these ridiculous 3 days later. It's been 3 sleeps. So 10,000 people marched in your streets. You didn't lift a finger. That was all. We were told, oh, it's mostly peaceful. Really? Do you not know what that chant means? I don't think that you don't.
Think the chant is a euphemism. And look, I think that does fall under freedom of speech.
It's not a...
The chant is a euphemism for wiping out Israel. I don't like it at all, but I don't think you can still say that that is the same as saying kill all Jews. But you don't get any more explicit than saying kill all Jews and gas the Jews, which is, of course, a reference to Nazi Germany. And so you've got the Victorian government saying, all right, well, we're going to crack down on some people who want to kill the Jews, but not other people who want to kill them. Like, this is
10,000 can march, that's fine.
On the issue of freedom of expression, you actually made a very good point because in the Second World War, in the UK, they banned the swastika, of course, when war broke out with Germany. And the Secret Service there said, oh, well, what did you do that for? That was the easiest way we had of spotting traitors in our community, so we could keep an eye on them, see what they were doing, round them up and arrest them.
It's hugely useful. If you're stupid enough to fly it or do that salute, I'm like, thanks very much.
You're just going to have 24/7 Flowers by Irene outside your front door. It's a great video. Anyway, you asked earlier, where are the people tearing down these calls for the death of Israelis, calls for the death of Jews?
Come on,
It's just humanity, people. By the way, kill all the Jews.
The irony.
There are people out there, you'll be heartened to know, Liz, not just here, but in the US and the UK, who are going around tearing down posters, but they're not tearing down posters calling for the death of all Jews. They're tearing down posters of Jewish hostages. You absolutely wouldn't believe it. But in Melbourne, where that sign went up, apparently, posters of Israelis, photos of Israelis taken hostage by Hamas, including a young child, have been torn down. Just when you thought the People's Republic of Victoria couldn't get any more just lunar left Bolshevik, they're actually tearing down pictures of the hostages. And again, this is something that is happening in New York and London as well. So again, the only thing that people in the community seem to be taking exception to isn't a call for genocide, same as the Nazis called for genocide under Adolf Hitler, but the actual picture of Jewish women and children who have been abducted.
How is that objectionable?
Spare a thought for the families. Like, these posters have been placed all around the world in cities to raise awareness, but with the permission of the families of these hostages. How would you be feeling as a mum or dad at home watching photographs of your child who's right now hostage in Gaza, these photos being ripped down from cities in New York, London, here in Melbourne? I mean, it's beyond cruel. That's just evil.